I watched my son take his last breath. And that's the hardest thing a mother could ever do.
A South Florida family is demanding answers tonight. Their loved one was shot and killed by police.
The family wants to know what exactly went down that night that led to the 27-year-old's death.
NBC6 reporter Ari Odzer was there today as the family and their attorney spoke. He joins us now from Miami Gardens with what they had to say. Ari?
Well, Jackie, that family is shattered. The young man's family, they're seeking some kind of closure. They can't get it. They gathered here today with their lawyers to announce a lawsuit and to make a statement about what they call an unnecessary shooting.
Heavenly Father.
The Lewis family is still grieving, searching for closure because they don't understand why police shot and killed Daniel Lewis as he stood on his back porch.
I watched my son take his last breath. And that's the hardest thing a mother could ever do. From the first to the last. Nobody would understand what was taken from us. And all we want to know is why. Why? Why did this have to happen?
The answer to her question, why did this have to happen, is it did not have to happen. It absolutely, positively did not have to happen. Mr. Lewis should still be here today.
Lewis was 27. He had 2 young kids, no criminal record, and he had a permit to carry a gun. On the night of May 31st, he was home. His cousins were in a car being followed, they say, by an unmarked black car with no police lights or siren. They panicked and drove into their backyard to get away from what they thought were gang members. Lewis came outside to see what was going on and was shot.
Not once did anyone yell, "Police, stop! Police, freeze!" Instead, what they did was they gunned down a law-abiding citizen in his backyard on his back doorstep without warning.
At the time, ATF agent Christopher Robinson said this.
Unfortunately, some individuals discharged firearms at some Miami Gardens detectives as well as some of my agents. Gunfire was returned. One individual was struck and he's unfortunately deceased.
What was the rush? What was the urgency to fire upon Mr. Lewis on that night? There was none. This was a bad shoot. It shouldn't have happened.
So Miami Gardens police and federal agents from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms were working together that night in a task force to combat gun violence. When this happened, we reached out to both agencies. ATF told us they can't comment because they're still investigating. Miami Gardens hasn't yet returned our inquiry. So one thing we can say is that according to the lawyers that we spoke to today, Lewis did have his gun on him, but did not fire it. None of the shells found on the ground matched his gun. If he pointed that gun at police officers, that would give them enough justification to shoot at him as a threat. But we have no idea if that scenario happened. We also have no idea if Lewis knew that he was dealing that night with police officers there on his property. We're live in Miami Gardens. Ari Odzer, NBC6 News.